Jania is a single mother living in a dilapidated apartment with her terminally ill daughter, Aria. She wakes up early to help get Aria ready for school. While in the bathroom, Aria manages to finish coding her science project. She then tells her mother that she's old enough to bathe herself, but Jania gently replies that she doesn't want her to fall and hurt herself again. Aria begs her mother to give her $40 so she can start eating lunch at school, hoping to avoid being mocked by her teacher again. As Jania heads out, she gives some spare change to a neighbor in a wheelchair, which angers her landlord. The landlord demands that she pay her overdue rent and threatens eviction. Jania promises to pay her at 10 o'clock during her break, as soon as she receives her wages. She then drives Aria to school, promising to bring her lunch money as soon as she gets paid. After that, she heads to her job at the grocery store. Her boss, Richard, urges her to hurry and suit up, noting that the store is already crowded. While at work, a customer throws a bottle at Jania after she refuses to accept a WIC card for non-eligible items. Her rude boss yells at her to hurry up and clean the mess. In the back room, her friend inquires about Aria's condition and offers her some cash to buy medicine. Jania declines the offer, insisting that Aria is fine. Moments later, she receives a call from the school principal, questioning her about Aria injuries. Mr. Richard catches her on the phone, which is against company policy. Jania explains that it's about her daughter at school and asks for permission to leave. Richard grants her 30 minutes but refuses to give her paycheck. Once outside, she has second thoughts and rushes to the bank to withdraw $40 from her account. However, the bank manager, Ms. Nicole, informs her that she has insufficient funds and warns that her account will soon be closed for falling below the minimum required balance. Upon arriving at the school, Jania is confronted by the principal and Child Protective Services, who take Aria into custody. Jania pleads for her daughter, explaining that she fell in the bathtub during a seizure and suffers from severe asthma. However, they inform her that the school reported concerns that Aria often comes to school hungry and unkempt. Jania explains that she's working 2 jobs to make ends meet and that Aria can't always eat due to her medical condition. Despite her pleas, they take Aria away and inform Jania that a home inspection will be conducted. As Jania drives back to work in the rain, she accidentally cuts off a man who turns out to be an off-duty police officer. He throws a drink at her and hits her car, running her off the road. When a female police officer arrives, she asks Jania for her license and registration. Meanwhile, the off-duty officer accuses Jania of damaging his brand-new car, hurling insults at her. Before leaving, he threatens her, saying he'll make her suffer if he ever sees her again. The female officer issues Jania a ticket and has her car impounded due to expired documents. Eventually, Jania makes it back to work, but she is fired for returning 2 hours late. Richard still refuses to give her a paycheck, insisting that, according to company policy, it will be mailed. Jania pleads with him, explaining that she needs the money to pay her overdue rent and her daughter's lunch fees. But Richard remains unmoved. When Jania arrives home, she finds that her landlord has evicted her. Her belongings are scattered in the rain. She breaks down, crying in disbelief at what she's seeing. Desperate, she returns to the store and confronts her boss, pleading with him to give her paycheck, explaining that she has nowhere to stay with her daughter. In the middle of their exchange, 2 armed robbers burst in and one of them notices her name tag. One of the robbers demands Aria's backpack to use for packing the stolen money. When Jania refuses, he assaults her. In the chaos, Jania manages to grab the gun from the robber and shoots him dead. Richard then accuses her of orchestrating the robbery, claiming the robber knew her name. He threatens that she'll rot in jail. Jania tries to explain that the robber saw her name on her name tag. But as Richard begins calling the police, a panicked and overwhelmed Jania snaps and shoots him dead as well. Jania quickly grabs her bag and paycheck, then heads to the back to cash it. Shortly after, the police arrive at the scene, Detective Raymond and Detective Grimes. After reviewing the security footage, the detectives question the other staff about Jania. Everyone describes her as a kind person and a devoted mother, insisting she could never be involved in planning a robbery. At the bank, the teller, Tessa, refuses to cash Jania's check without valid identification. Desperate, Jania pulls out a gun and forces the teller to process the check. A silent alarm alerts the police to a possible robbery in progress. The branch manager, Nicole, provides Jania's description to the responding officer and claims that Jania may also be carrying a bomb. While investigating at Jania's apartment, the detectives are suddenly called away to respond to a bank robbery involving a suspect named Jania Wilkerson. Back at the bank, Jania refuses to take any money beyond the amount of her paycheck, demanding only the $521 she's owed. The bank manager, Nicole, steps in and tries to calm her down. She then instructs Tessa to go ahead and cash Jania's check. Outside, federal police arrive and surround the entire bank. Police Chief Wilson steps in and asks Detective Raymond for details about Jania. Raymond explains that, based on the surveillance footage, Jania appears to be a victim who got caught up in a robbery, snapped under pressure, and ended up killing her boss. However, Detective Grimes disagrees, arguing that Jania must have intended to rob the bank from the start. Inside the bank, one of the captives becomes agitated and tries to grab the gun from Jania, causing it to discharge. After the failed attempt, he flees alongside the security guard. Overwhelmed with emotion, Jania breaks down, revealing that all she wanted was $40 to take to her daughter's school so she could have lunch. The TV broadcasts how Jania is wanted for murder of her boss at the grocery store. After securing a line with the bank, Raymond volunteers to act as a negotiator. After establishing trust with her, Jania tells her she didn't rob the bank, she came to cash her check, but the teller just gave her all the money. And the gun is not even hers. Raymond advises her to surrender and come out, to which Jania refuses, that she want to blame her for robbing the bank and kill her. We get to know that Raymond was a negotiator specialist in the Army. Nicole gives Jania her $521 cash check. Jania gives her back $40 and asks her to give it to her daughter at school. The police connects to the bank cameras and gets a clear view of the inside. Two of the hostages move out without any hesitation from Jania. Instead, she orders them to lock the door. Arya's science project in the backpack starts alarm, making the hostages worried, thinking Jania is about to explode the bomb. But on their surprise, Jania silences the beeping alert. Jania gives all the hostages chairs to sit and asks them to stand with her because she has no one. As the police plans to go and Raymond defends Jania to give her a second chance, claiming the bomb is real, given she didn't stop the fast hostages to walk out. All the witnesses claim she is a good girl, she might have snapped. During the second call with Detective Raymond, Raya, one of the tellers, secretly live streams her phone, revealing the all situation inside, making Jania win public sympathy. Jania reveals to Raymond that she can't come out because one of the detectives promises to kill her if he sees her again. She explains to her the all-accident scenario and tells her that the robbers at the grocery store read her name tag, but her boss didn't believe her. That's why she snapped and shoot her after he intimidated to take her to jail. The social services took her baby because she fell in the tub while trying to bathe herself, making her get bruised. Showing her frustration of being put out, throwing her daughter medicine on streets, and have nowhere to sleep, make Detective Raymond cry. Barely surviving to take care of her sick daughter. We get to know that during the talk, Raymond, too, was raised by a single mother facing similar hardships as Jania. She pleads to her to come out, but Jania gets emotional, dares not to come out until the office who rammed her car is found. Chief Wilson orders investigation into the office who wrote Jania a ticket. Realizing that the cameras are recording, Jania unplugs them, making the police lose connection. Tessa shows her dislike for Jania, but Miss Isabella, the other hostage, advised her to shut up since she could not feel any sympathy after hearing all what Jania had gone through. Nicole hands her a jacket to save her from cold. Jania learns that Nicole has a family, and she reveals to her about her dreams of having a good apartment with her baby Arya, but her financial situation could not all him get to her dreams. Jania promises Nicole that she will let her get to her family again. The crowd gather outside the back and support Jania, shouting out, "Free Jania." Her lamb homeless friend Benny also come in support of her. The FBI under Agent Bryce takes over the robber case, claiming Chief Wilson failed to have the matter in his control. As the place gets so hot after the police turning off the AC, Jania tells them she used a sleeping in heat like this because his room has no air conditioning. Jania apologized to the hostages that she did mean to do this, but something inside her broke up while she was pregnant. Doctors refused to help her since she didn't have insurance, and people outside there don't know how it's expensive to be poor. Jania begs Nicole to help her keep her daughter if they happen to put her in jail until she gets out, to which Nicole accepts. While talking, Miss Isabella gets sick, and Jania allows her to be taken out to see a doctor since she is diabetic. Nicole deliberately decides to go back inside to be with other hostages, and the crowd cheer up Free Jania. FBI Detective Bryce called Jania, claiming taking over the investigation, and asks her to surrender and let the hostages go. Jania demands to talk to Detective Raymond. She insists not to come out until the officer who intimidated is arrested. As they are talking, the suspect bombs starts bipping, making all hostages tremble in fear of expansion. Jania silences it and reveals to them her daughter make it her science project. She gets to know all this time the police thinks she is carrying a bomb. She tells Nicole to call the police and explain to them it's that she has not been having a bomb all along, but Nicole advises her not to call Mai. It's what is stopping the police from storming the bank. Tessa goes to the bathroom and writes the police a message that the bomb is not real. Jania accepts to surrender as long the officer is gone. Raymond gets to know that Officer Oliver was the officer who hit Jania's car and wrote him a ticket and punches him out of fury. Detective Bryce refuses to talk to Jania as he plans an assault at the bank. Raymond picks up the phone and informs Jania that the officer who intimidated her is found and accepted hitting her car. Jania asks proof of his picture and let the all world know that she was telling the truth, and she then lets all hostages go freely and surrenders also. After realizing that FBI was not willing to turn on Jania's to send her a picture of Detective Oliver, Raymond goes to the bank and shows Jania the photo on her phone. After confirming that it's him, Jania frees all the hostages, Tessa and Raya, but Nicole decides to stay back. Jania receives a phone call from her mother, who informs her that Arya died the previous night during the seizure. The scene shows all what Jania had gone through that transpired the all day. The school had not called, and CPS was never involved. Nicole, aware of Arya's death earlier, had stayed to protect Jania from herself and the situation. As the FBI prepares to storm the bank, tear gas is fired, and Jania is seemingly shot lying helpless on the floor. However, this too is a hallucination. In reality, Jania peacefully surrenders to Detective Raymond. In the midst of crowds cheering her name with Nicole by her side, Jania thanks Detective Raymond for standing with her. Thanks for watching.